So yeah, thanks for organizing this event, and thanks for you being here, even if it's so nice weather outside. So I'm Katharina and Carole, so you know that we are the two of the five we're presenting this group project. And it was actually in 2018, so right before the pandemic, that Magali and I were walking to work at UQAM, and then she said, I know that you are in the Cool Memories Association, which is the Cool Memory Association Baudrillard created after the death of her husband. And so did the photographs have ever been published or shown in Canada? And I said, no, I don't think so. They traveled around the world. He was a vernacular photographer, not a professional one, of course. So maybe we can do something about Baudrillard's work and his photographic work in Canada at UQAM. And yeah, then from one step to another, we said, yeah, this could be done maybe at the design center at UQAM. So we met Louise Pelletier, who is the director of the design center at UQAM, and talked to her about the project. And we thought that it would be nice to present the photographs, but not in a classical way we could present photographs, because he's not a photographer, but maybe there's something to do about the idea of the screen and bringing it into dialogue with other artists. And yeah, then actually, what happened was first the idea also, how can we at some point talk about Baudrillard without retelling everything that has already been done, and there also have to be critical views on his work, because he was not a feminist, and there's a lot of parts in his work that have to be seen in another way of today, but at the same time he was a visionary too. So we also wanted to put this together. So one part of the whole project, what we're going to present today, is really the exhibition, which is this conference and also exhibition about. But just to say, there was also a symposium and a special issue. I can show you later in the end. We will show you quickly the website, and also a special issue that has been published about Baudrillard. So that was a whole transdisciplinary work. And actually you can see, we just did some print screens, Amandine, Alessandra, Marine Baudrillard and Magali, so that you're going to see later also on screen. Marine Baudrillard couldn't travel neither to Paris, because she was in Paris, she couldn't travel to Montreal, and couldn't come here neither, but yeah, she was still at some point somewhere. And if you want to listen to her and what she had to say about, there's also a video on the website from the opening vernissage, where she was connected via Zoom. So we were a transdisciplinary team from design, media studies, media philosophy, sociology, working together, 3 different departments of UQAM. I think it's important to say so that you can see how the project evolved. And then, we started 2019. We did the funding application. Everyone knows this, we put a lot of words into 5 pages, and we have to have the results before having started the research and the project. And eventually we got the funding, so we were very happy about it. And then the pandemic arrived. We got in 2019 the funding, and then everything started. We're going to do it like this and like that. And at the design center, do we print the photographs? What are we going to do? We had these first reflections on how we can bring this together. And then the pandemic arrived, and what happened actually was that we're saying, we wanted to name the whole exhibition Total Screen already, because Écran Total is the name of one of the works from Baudrillard, and that was before the pandemic. So we were like, okay, that makes sense. We get like a sign from Matrix here. So the pandemic in the end for us was, of course, an obstacle, and also really an opportunity to rethink Baudrillard and the way that of course the notion of simulation and the simulacra. And how can we work? We are mise en abîme and working on different mediations, bringing together on the one hand his photographs, his thinking, but also the artists. And of course, what I think I'm saying now seems quite a bit strange, because we were not in the project. So we want to show you actually like a virtual guide, a guided tour. I don't know how you say it in English, a guided tour. Yeah, thank you, Carole. So that you can see how it is when it was filmed. And then you see the other mediations, and then later at the exhibition, if you still have time, you can also use the virtual reality. We're going to talk about it later. Okay, so that was the introductory part, and this is, okay, so you're going to see us on a screen, that which is not the best thing, but at least you see Amandine and also Magali, and especially the artists. They were put in discussion with Baudrillard's work. So should work, I guess. Okay, it's sent to YouTube, it's not the end of the world. I'm doing it like this. And we want the subtitles, of course. Yes. And the sound.
Yes, the guided tours in French.
But it is subtitled, yeah. Do it again. Sorry. Normally it was integrated in the keynote, but it doesn't seem to work. Jean Baudrillard était un philosophe et provocateur qui a prédit beaucoup de phénomènes communicationnels de notre époque contemporaine. Il était aussi photographe, souvent avec une caméra jetable. Il ne se prétendait pas artiste, mais pourtant il était exposé en Australie, en France et en Allemagne, et très récemment en Chine, à la Power Station of Art. Puis avec ma collègue, maintenant co-commissaire Magali, elle s'était dit que ce serait bien d'exposer des photographies de Jean Baudrillard un jour au Canada où il n'a jamais été exposé. Donc Écran Total n'est pas une exposition sur Jean Baudrillard, c'est plutôt en fait que ces photographies deviennent le média et la matrice pour les autres œuvres exposées à partir de leur forme, de leur couleur, etc. Et aussi, à ne pas oublier, c'est que Baudrillard était décédé en 2007, donc il n'a pas pu réfléchir et continuer ses réflexions sur le web 2.0, et c'est là où des artistes entrent en jeu et mobilise en fait les 4 concepts que Baudrillard a développés, à savoir la viralité, la simulation, l'implosion et la surveillance, et continue en fait à discuter et à cheminer leurs réflexions à partir de leurs œuvres autour des concepts de Jean Baudrillard.
La proposition commissariale comme la scénographie rendent compte de cette expérience du monde par l'écran que nous vivons de manière d'autant plus forte depuis le début de la pandémie. L'exposition propose 3 expériences et médiations distinctes. La première est l'exposition physique bien réelle au centre de design. Les photos projetées de Jean Baudrillard côtoient dans la pénombre les œuvres des 7 artistes invités. La seconde médiation se tient dehors à l'extérieur, où des jeux de transparence dans les vitrines du centre laissent apercevoir les œuvres captées dans un décor blanc presque irréel ou hyper réel comme dirait Jean Baudrillard. Enfin, la troisième forme, c'est une remédiation web qui se découvre à distance et dans une dimension totalement fabriquée, celle de l'écran total qui aujourd'hui nous enveloppe.
Cette œuvre de Pénélope Umbrico est faite de surfaces successives d'un écran à cristaux liquides démantelés et dont les couches successives sont suspendues comme à l'arrêt en pleine implosion. Et derrière ces surfaces lenticulaires, on peut voir une séquence de motifs RVB vibrants et abstraits qui sont en fait des captures d'écran prises sur eBay de téléviseurs défectueux mis en vente pour pièces. Avec cette œuvre, Pénélope Umbrico nous confronte à la matérialité de l'écran, de cet écran qu'on regarde toute la journée sans vraiment le voir, du réveil jusqu'au moment où on sombre dans le sommeil.
L'œuvre corps abstrait de Charlie Boyon nous place devant un cyborg, une forme mi-humaine, mi-machine, pour nous montrer en fait les impacts que portent ces petits écrans domestiques qu'on transporte avec nous quotidiennement sur nos représentations de soi dans ce monde numérique. En émerge une œuvre dystopique qui nous confronte à cet impact des technologies sur nos manières d'agir et de penser, puisque ce sont au final ces écrans qui nous pensent et qui nous habitent, bien plus que nous qui les pensons.
L'omniprésence des écrans est renversée dans l'œuvre de Choignet, qui se préoccupe plutôt de la viralité invisible des codes. Avec son œuvre Deep Aware Trials, Choignet nous présente un genre de collage numérique qui se veut une sorte de métaphore de la viralité. Ces collages sont en fait des agrégations d'images qu'elle a glanées dans des articles académiques qui parlent du travail de Jean Baudrillard. En utilisant délibérément à mauvais escient ces outils algorithmiques, de brosse qui créent en quelque sorte des transitions d'une image à l'autre, elle explore la façon dont dont la viralité modifie notre perception, notre façon de voir, mais aussi notre façon de faire des liens entre les données.
Internet vernaculaire est une œuvre de Clint Hans qui nous présente 366 images de l'année 2004, l'année en fait où est apparue la plateforme de partage Flickr, qui est une plateforme emblématique du tout début de cette ère de l'Internet participatif. Dans une forme d'archéologie du numérique, l'œuvre nous ramène à une époque 10 ans avant l'arrivée massive du téléphone intelligent, une époque où les caméras étaient beaucoup moins conciliantes avec notre image, une époque aussi où nous n'avions pas encore compris ou saisi la mesure de ce partage à très grande échelle de nos vies personnelles, donc de ces images vernaculaires sur des plateformes de partage mondiales.
Les images vernaculaires occupent aussi une place centrale dans l'œuvre de Basim Bati et Mishka Henner, Energy Ghost, qui projettent en fait sur un grand cercle des centaines de séquences de catastrophes naturelles prises en direct par des caméras de surveillance ou par des témoins qui étaient là avec leur téléphone cellulaire. La projection, assez hypnotique, met en évidence cette confrontation permanente que l'on a face à des images de catastrophes que l'on regarde inlassablement et qui mettent de côté ou en exergue certaines situations ou certaines catastrophes qui se déroulent hors champ, qui sont peut-être moins photogéniques et qui se déroulent en silence.
All We Ever Need Is One Another, c'est l'œuvre d'Adam Bazanta qui en fait superposé, mis en face à face 3 scanners qui se numérisent. Donc c'est une souris qui est contrôlée par un script informatique. Donc par déclenchement, les 3 scanners se scannent. Ces images-là sont après envoyées dans une base de données qui elle-même rencontre par apprentissage profond une autre base de données d'œuvres d'art contemporaines. Il y a une coïncidence, un match de plus de 80% entre les images scannées et les images photographiées d'œuvres d'art dans la base de données. Une grande imprimante dans l'espace d'exposition imprime ces nouvelles images générées par les algorithmes et l'apprentissage profond est directement dans la salle. Évidemment, là, on est clairement dans un ici et maintenant. La question, est-ce que l'intelligence artificielle peut produire de l'art ou pas? But so you could see the different artist work and much clearer and get an idea of what this exhibition was or was not actually. And in relation, we could say a lot of things, of course, about the artists, and more theoretical things. But what we want to do in relation to this venue here is coming back to the 3 mediations we were talking about in the reportage, but there's a 4th one, and we want to come back to them to be a bit more precise about what we have done.
Mm-hmm. So as Katharina was saying earlier, because we started working on this project before we knew anything like COVID would happen. We had some plans, but then COVID arrived and it wasn't certain, considering we were months ahead, and as you probably know, putting an exhibition takes a long time, and decisions need to be made months before it actually takes place. So we had to make decisions in regards to how to put the exhibition together, not knowing whether anyone would be allowed into the exhibition space and if we would be able to show the exhibition. So one of the scenario was to just quit and get rid of, or just abandon the project, which we didn't want to do. And so what you just saw, this little clip, we thought, okay, if we can't, if we get to a point where we can't show the exhibition, then at least we'll film the different artworks that were presented, and we will film them or photograph them as if they were in a white cube art space kind of thing, And so, because most of the works were created for the exhibition by the artist, so these were never shown before pieces. And so we filmed them as if we had installed them in the exhibition room and then filmed them. But this is a mise en scène, it's a scenario. So we thought, but at least we will have this to show. And then we thought, well, if we show this, we have the artwork, because we had to have it, obviously, to film it. So we thought, well, we should still put an exhibition together, a physical exhibition together, just in case we are at a point in the pandemic where we can have even just a few people at a time, perhaps. But we wanted the exhibition to be different in some way, in that it would be more an archive of this new artwork. So pieces that were created for the exhibition would be placed in this brand new archive in a very sort of monolithic, dark, quiet kind of environment, as if it were the backdrop of the real exhibition that was projected outside. So this was a second mediation. We were lucky enough that the pandemic allowed us. We had a window where we were allowed to have people in. So people could come into the space, see the artwork, and then go outside and see the projection, and so have this other encounter with the work, which was then oversized. The center, the space has, you see these doors from an interior courtyard, there are windows that are really big. So we thought of it as a screen where you see the holes and people kind of peering through the holes like this, to then see the projection of like the much larger scale artwork that they had just encountered in a very close encounter. And with that, we also, well, as you just saw, the film of a guided tour to explain the different art pieces, but we also, as we were exploring different forms of mediation, we wanted to take it a step further and have a more kind of physical archive of the whole experiment. And so we worked with a company that does the virtual reality filming of the exhibition, and so that's what you can see in the exhibition here. We have some virtual reality helmets, I guess, glasses, I don't know, headsets, where you can visit the exhibition yet in another format. And so our aim with this, and the pandemic forced us to do this, but we could have done one or two mediation, but we thought, okay, we're gonna have the ball rolling here, and we should try to explore all these various ways of coming to grasp and understand these different pieces that were shown in the exhibition, and also as a way to reflect back on this idea of the total screen, which is the real exhibition, which is the real, or which encounters should be prioritized, how do we read these art pieces, is one mediation giving us some information that others don't. And so we started to kind of play around with this and wanted to multiply the ways of visiting the exhibition. And so this is the last image?
No, it was just...
Okay. The last, I guess, form of mediation is that all of this is available through a website where there is also added information about the symposium, the different participants, more quotes from Baudrillard that also help us read into these art pieces or talk back to each other in a critical form. And so these are a few images of this virtual reality visit that one can take.
Yes, and maybe maybe to conclude, we can show you the website you can also discover, because of course one of the questions that always came, I think it's this one. Okay, perfect. So you're invited to have a look there. All the symposiums are there online. This is also the idea of the archive, I think, that is we're going to discuss the next days. What can we do about what is significant to be left? What do we keep? What do we not keep? Maybe one day this website will not exist anymore. But yeah, for the moment you can discover everything related to it. Also original work from Baudrillard that has not been published, for instance. And then one could say, would Baudrillard have liked this And that was a question we were always talking about with Marine Baudrillard. And in the end, we always tried with a kind of irony. There was also a time lapse you can discover later in the virtual reality, which was a 24-hour film of the office of Baudrillard. We couldn't look outside out of the street. There were also some irony in the exhibition that doesn't come out here like this. And we had the archive of his voice. And in the end, it was also the discussion we had with Marine Baudrillard, that is the idea to recreate singularity in the simulacrum. So the last hope for Baudrillard was, in his latest work, to recreate singularity. So this is also something that came up here. And that is the last word. And this is a special issue we were talking about, in case you're interested in this. Thank you so much.